Let's talk to Dennis Unkovic. He's a partner at Meyer, Unkovic and Scott, and Michael O'Hanlon. He's Director of Foreign Policy Research at the Brookings Institution. Welcome to both of you, gentlemen. Mr. O'Hanlon, let me begin with you, and let's talk quickly about this Chinese spy satellite. Was that satellite really in and over U.S. airspace, or was it in space? And don't we do fundamentally the same kind of things and gather the same kind of intelligence that the Chinese were gathering over on our military installations?
Yeah, those are good questions. There is some ambiguity about who owns the air when you get up above 50, 60,000 feet. Now, I think the United States is perfectly within its rights to assert that it's our sovereign territory, but we don't have completely rock solid international legal foundation for doing that. And in any event, I think we therefore have to sort of modulate the criticism of China. I have no problems with President Biden having the balloon shot down. I think that was understandable. But I also don't find it completely surprising or indicative of aggressive intent that China would try to get away with this sort of exploitation of a gray area. And more generally, I think we have to learn in the United States strategic debate how to push back against Chinese actions that we don't like without demonizing them or calling them a new axis of evil, as Senator Lieberman recently did in an op-ed. I think, the rhetoric is getting a bit overheated, and this particular action, this particular incident required, I think, a firm American response, but also understanding both sides are constantly trying to exploit ambiguities in the law or opportunities for intelligence. It's just a little bit the nature of the business.
Dennis, Mr. O'Hanlon just raised the idea axis of evil, a phrase that goes back to the Bush administration. You do certainly have now three countries, it would seem, Russia, Iran, and China, that are acting in concert against the interests of the West and the United States. True, false, what?
I think the West has to accept the fact that China and Russia and to Iran to a lesser extent are now bound together very closely. So as a result, I'm not going to use that phrase, which I think is a little bit overblown, but the fact that they are no longer close to us other than economically, I think is a fact of life.
So you had Xi Jinping going to Russia to meet with Putin. Now you have the Taiwanese president, Tsai Ing-wen, coming to the United States to meet with Kevin McCarthy. I'm just curious, what do you think, Michael? Is this a situation where we're going to continue to see tensions ratchet up? And explain, if you will, why Taiwan could be the linchpin in this.
Thank you. First of all, I think Dennis makes a very good point, because if we think back 8-10 years, Russia and China were working with us to apply sanctions against Iran in a way that then made possible the Iran nuclear deal. Whether you like that deal or not, the dynamic was that Russia and China worked with us at the UN Security Council to apply sanctions in a way that would be unthinkable today, given the nature of relations. So I think that's an important point. On Taiwan, the really fascinating question for me, given that China made such a strong reaction already last summer, and that Taiwan has presidential elections coming up in January, and China doesn't really want to help the more nationalistic party, the DPP. Typically, the DPP benefits when China is seen as over-punishing Taiwan, as being overly threatening. So I'm going to be fascinated. I'm not going to make a prediction. Sorry, I don't feel smart enough, but I do suggest that we all watch very astutely the Chinese reaction. My guess is that they will be upset, but they will ratchet it down a half notch from what they did after the Pelosi visit.
I guess the real question for our CNBC viewers is that Taiwan is pivotal to chips and circuit boards here in the United States. And you saw last week President Biden using the Defense Act to try and lower some of these obstacles to chip production and try to make sure that no matter what happens with China, that the U.S. military has what it needs. So within that context, what do you think, Dennis? Are we looking at a situation here where we have to throw all of the eggs into the Taiwan basket because of how important they are to our own national defense?
Contessa, I think it's going to be at least 4 years before the United States can regain as much of the chip production, particularly the 5 nano chip ones that are the most valuable ones, in the near future. And so my concern is that if China is really going to put pressure on Taiwan, they're going to want to do it over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. Because as you know, there are, I think, 6 chip plants being built now in the United States and maybe more on the horizon. But those are multi-billion-dollar things that take a long time to put together. So Xi Jinping, since he got his third leg on the stool now that he controls China, in my opinion, more than Mao, what's happening is he knows he's on a short string in which Taiwan can still put economic pressure on the United States.